Ever feel like you're standing perfectly still while the rest of the world rushes past you in a blur? It's a common symptom of modern life, being completely surrounded by people, yet feeling entirely alone. We are experiencing an epidemic of isolation. The problem is, when we feel stressed or disconnected, our biological instinct is to pull the drawbridge up and retreat inward, isolating ourselves even further. This creates a psychological state known as cognitive confinement. It is the miserable conviction that you are trapped at the absolute center of your own universe, bearing a pain that no one else could possibly understand. The Dalai Lama noted that a large portion of human misery is self-created in this state. When we hyper-focus on our own grievances, we magnify our suffering and build the walls of our own confinement. This spectrum visualization shows the cycle of suffering. On the left side, we have cognitive confinement, where isolation loops inward. On the right, we have meaning-making, where connection flows outward. If you remain stuck on the left side of this spectrum, ruminating on past injustices, the pain embitters you. You become increasingly disconnected from your community. But if you can shift your focus to the right side, using your experience to understand others, that exact same pain becomes a source of ennobling purpose. Empathy forces you to look outward and externalize the pain. Empathy is the most reliable mechanism we have to escape cognitive confinement, but it cannot be brute forced. To actually work without draining you, your empathy has to be scaled exactly to your current emotional battery. This tiered matrix shows the empathy bandwidth scale, which maps empathy tactics to your current emotional capacity. Let's look at the bottom row, low bandwidth interventions, designed for when you are severely depleted or managing acute pain. Method 1 is daily mindfulness and acceptance. The required input here is small, committing just 3 minutes a day to accept your reality exactly as it is right now, without fighting it or wishing your circumstances were different. The trade-off is that you have to sit quietly with uncomfortable truths. You are facing your own pain directly, stripping away the crutch of constant digital distraction or busyness. Method 2 is carrying out seemingly senseless acts of kindness. This is a low-friction tool for community building. Princess Diana frequently advocated for this exact approach in her humanitarian work. She saw spontaneous, simple actions as vital counterweights to institutional indifference, cutting through the systemic isolation marginalized people face. The strict trade-off here is your expectation. You must perform these acts with absolutely zero anticipation of a reward, a punishment, or even a basic thank you. These low-bandwidth methods protect the depleted individual from compassion fatigue. They slowly reintroduce you to the present moment, without demanding energy you simply don't have. Looking back at the matrix, if you are stable but still feeling isolated, you move up to the middle tier of the scale. This brings us to Method 3, shared cultural and creative connection. Engaging in physical or creative activities side by side, like taking a baking class or a local workshop, builds a sense of belonging naturally. You get the benefit of human presence without the pressure of forced, heavy emotional conversations. We can also use the arts, like playing or discovering music together. Research shows that sharing music plays an essential role in collectively elevating mood and reducing stress. The outcome here is a lower pressure environment for vulnerability. You are actively combating the emptiness of modern life through joint focus. But there is a trade-off. You have to sacrifice your own free time, and you must surrender total control over your schedule to accommodate other people. This indirect empathy, built through shared experience, provides a valid, low-risk bridge for constructing a genuine support network. Finally, we reach the highest tier of the matrix. This capacity is reserved for those who have fully healed or currently possess a surplus of emotional energy. This surplus allows for Method 4, the buddy support system. The required input is substantial. You are providing sustained, one-on-one mentorship or care to marginalized individuals, offering the personalized attention required to dismantle institutional indifference. The trade-off here is severe. This demands significant emotional labor, and it carries a very high risk of burnout if you do not strictly enforce your own personal boundaries. Which brings us to Method 5, the most demanding of all, meaning-making from personal trauma. Archbishop Desmond Tutu taught that suffering can either embitter us or ennoble us. To become ennobled, we have to actively take our own lived trauma and use it to, in his words, wipe tears from another's eyes. The psychological lifting required to execute this is massive. You must completely give up the hope of a different past and entirely abandon the familiar comfort of victimhood. By finding purpose in your pain and using it to help others, you move beyond your own self-regard. Arch calls this the secret to joy, the moment you step outside your own skin to wipe a tear from the eyes of another. Finding your health and happiness at the cost of another person's pain is unacceptable, but destroying your own mind to try and save everyone else is equally unsustainable. This flowchart starts with one question: what is your emotional battery? If depleted, take path A. Use mindfulness and kindness to regulate your mind. If stable but isolated, take path B. Use shared activities to bridge the gap. If you have a surplus, path C is your obligation. Create structural change. Empathy is a sliding scale. Matching your practice to your current capacity makes the habit sustainable, allowing your own sense of hope to spread to the people around you.